Hello and welcome back to Advanced Horang Lessons. We need to talk about RFF 3, this mid from RFF, because if I'm being honest with you, why aren't you pressing this button? Why aren't you pressing one of the best mids in Horang's arsenal in RFF? I'll tell you why you should be pressing RFF 3. RFF 3 is a 16 frame mid from RFF that is +7 on hit and -4 on block. 16 frames pretty good because that means if you do it off RFS 2, so you get your +5 into RFF 3, that means it comes out at a whopping 11 frames. That means only a jab or a down jab or a magic 4 will beat you, an 11 frame magic 4. Or Leroy's back one, right? So it's solid option to throw out. And if you do get the move on hit, right? Let's say your opponent got hit by RFF 3 because they were too busy looking at the other option, maybe a down 3-4, right? Or RFF down 4, RFF down back 3. They can't step. I'm being very honest with you that they can't step. We're gonna put it to sidestep left, position reset. Throw out a DF1. DF1's tracking isn't that great, but hey, it's gonna catch. How about DF1 plus 2? That wasn't DF1 plus 2. This is DF1 plus 2. How about F1 plus 2? Alright. These aren't homing moves, because obviously if I show you DF4, it's gonna hit because it's a homing move. Those are your mids. Forward 2? Let's not forget about that. All catches. Let's show all of that on SSR. RFF 3, DF1, caught. DF1 plus 2, caught. F1 plus 2, they ain't running away. F2, okay, they're gonna leave there, but you don't have to press F1 plus 2, right? If you just run those 3 mids. How about sidewalk? Sidewalk left. DF1, still caught. Alright, fantastic. DF1 plus 2, not going anywhere. F1 plus 2? And then F2. What about on sidewalk right? DF1, alright. DF1 plus 2, F1 plus 2, right. And then, of course, F2, that's gonna lose. But that's okay, you don't need to use it. You don't gotta press it. So they can't step. Backdash? They're not backdashing the DF1 either, which is great. If they can backdash the DF1, then you just show them, or if their character can backdash the DF1, just show them the DF1 plus 2. They're not gonna step that. That means you can throw out 3 mids, 3 of Horang's mids, reliably. Well, technically 4, because again, F2 only loses to sidewalk, sidewalk right, sidewalk and SSR. Also, furthermore, it's -4 on block, right? So at -4, you can still step, you can still backdash, you can still press a button. You're not necessarily at the iffy frames, but you're still at frames where you can press a button. So I have Horang recorded here. It's gonna do a little thing. I'm gonna try to hit him with a DF1. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, but if you throw out a mid that does track towards that side, and you react right after RFF 3, or even delay your reaction a little bit, you'll still catch him. But if you do throw out a move that does not track there, he's gonna get a small, very small whiff punish off you. There you go. He's getting a small whiff punish. That's for SSR. You can also just step towards the left as well, depending on like where your opponent's moves track. You just step towards that side and get like a DF1, a down jab, or an FC3, whatever choice you want. So that you can do. That's like the most Horang can do. Aside from, of course, like interrupting with a down jab. RFF3 down jab, stand guard, RFF3, and then down jab. That you can do. And you can do like RFF3 back 1, RFF3 back 2. But of course, that's if you really, really want to press a button. But stepping or backdashing right after RFF3 is very, very viable. And it's great that it's -4. So you still have a lot of breathing room compared to like -6, -7, -8, and -9. Like F1 plus 2. You don't really have much to go around there. That's not the only thing, right? So if they can't step, they can't backdash, and you can still do stuff on block, like your opponent has to watch out for it. They still have to watch out for a lot more stuff on block. So before, like, this is very, very common. Like, you would see it in, I don't know, tag 2 troll videos, wherein Horang stringing, and then you'll see this loop. And then down 3-4, loop again. But that transition didn't exist. The transition that existed was RFF3 F4, which put him in RFF at +4, and on block, this was -7. Not much you can do here aside from a down jab and backlash if you want to. But the really good one was RFS 3-4 because on block, this was +10. However, you could just down jab. However, this OS, right? Even if you did down jab, Hwoarang could counter it very, very easily. So that was a risk you had to take as when you're defending Hwoarang. So if I down jab here, oh wait, I have to block RFF 3 first. You will get low parried or blocked or stepped because he's -4. He has room to operate. However, if he did press a button right after it, you deny the string. Both versions. However, you're running on that mix, whether is Hwoarang gonna do it or not. And so you still have to compete with RFF 3-4, RFF 3-4 to RFF, and most importantly, RFF 3-4 forward into RFS. And this is the one that's really gonna make you think, because the transition is really, really fast, even if it does end at like -12, because you're gonna get caught by RFS F4, and that's the one thing that's really gonna interrupt your DF1 or your jab. So Hwoarang can really just stop you right over here. And this is the one thing that really opens up the RFF strings for the other two versions for Hwoarang if you want to use it. On top of like the stuff you can do on RFF 3 on block. So not only can you not step after RFF 3 on hit, RFF 3 does track pretty well to a specific side for Hwoarang. So if I do something like RFF 1, which is 0 on block, and attempt to RFF 3, you'll notice I'll lose to SSL. Okay, let's increase the frames, because that was 0, right? Let's do RFF 2 into RFF 3. Oh, okay, it still loses. How about RFS 2? That's +5. It still loses. Okay, so it doesn't track towards this side, because we're going to go sidewalk left to cover all of left, right? So RFF 1 again, that loses. RFF 2 loses. RFS 2 loses. Okay. But I did say it tracks towards one side. So, RFF 1. Yes. RFF 2. Yes. RFS 2. Nice. Denied. Sidestep right. Denied. Sidewalk right. Nowhere to go if the opponent attempts to step towards the right. So if your opponent's stepping towards the right when you're in RFF, just RFF 3. You don't even have to do DF1, DF1 plus 2, or backlash or RFF DF3. Just RFF 3. So it's a good move that you can throw out in RFF because it's 16 frames. They can't go anywhere, which means you can really pressure them on hit if it does hit. There is a little bit of a mix and safety on block. And then there's like other options as well. And it tracks fully towards one side of Hwoarang. The other bonus is that this move does hit really, really low. And when I mean low, it does hit low. By low, I mean it hits grounded. So if your opponent's hanging on the floor, you know, give them a little nudge with RFF 3. It's like, get up. And you can stay safe. Like, you don't have to commit to something bigger like FF3, RFF FF3, back 3, any of the plasma blades, really. You don't have to commit to any of that stuff. Like, you want to remain safe, like just doing a down back 4. The problem with down back 4 is that it's going to lose to the spring kick, right? So you just RFF 3. This denies all the wake up kicks. And you did see there it whiffed. This does not fully hit grounded, but it does hit really, really low. So at certain angles, this is going to hit majority of the time. It's very rare that this does not hit grounded. So this is like the perfect Okizeme tool that you can use for Hwoarang. So let's do a basic combo here, and let's have the opponent set to like float to get floated, right? So there's a basic combo and on flashing trident. Then I'm gonna RFF 3. Oh, they're floated. They're floated. They do a wake up kick. Let's do the recovery kick here. They're gonna lose too. Basic combo, pop up, lose. Oh, that's a float again. And if you're awake, right, you can confirm this into RFF 3-4. And that's gonna be a full counter hit because that's NCC. So that's even better if you know, of course. If you don't, that's gonna be a major risk. RFF 3 beats the wake up kick. Like, you can test it with all of this. This is gonna win on all of it, really. It's just such a reliable Oki option to work with. But it doesn't have that many rewards aside from like pushing your opponent while they're on the floor, as you notice there. Like it's just like poke and then walk again, poke, walk again, poke. So it's gonna feel a little bit meager, but just channel your inner Steve Fox. Like, yeah, this is good. This is good. Now, it's float combo. There is one float combo I do recommend. So you get the float 4-3 into down 3-4 is what you're supposed to do. There are other float combos that work. I just think this is the most versatile one that you can use. And the one that where you can like really control the combo. RFF 3, 4-3 forward, down 3-4, tail spin, and then you'll get the RFF forward 3, but you will not get the Hunting Hawk. It's a little bit too far. However, you do get something like this. Down 3-4, there you go. Something like that, and you're gonna hit 43 damage. That's like the most I was able to squeeze out. I don't know, let me know your combo or your refloat combo in the comments if you hit higher than 43, and it's reliable. So for the most part, again, there's barely any downside to RFF 3 aside from it being just a poke and nothing else, and the inability to confirm like into the string. But aside from that, it's just a very, very good mid. You should be pressing it. We should all be pressing it. And that's everything about RFF 3 I know. End screen's gonna show you the next advanced Hwoarang lesson when it does drop. So I'll see you there for the next advanced Hwoarang lesson.